Здорово, moi друзья. Everybody, welcome to another episode. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for being just an awesome person in general. I appreciate all your support, whether you're just doing views or buying merch, which the merch is what fuels this channel because I am very against doing a Patreon. I'm not going to hold information hostage from you guys for just a couple of dollars, right? I want to be able to give you something in return. And so go check out the merch. There's everything from t-shirts, shorts, hats, stickers, everything. And I'm consistently adding new stuff all of the time. So with that being said, today's episode is going to be talking about kit. This is in response to a lot of questions I get saying, hey, show us kit setup, show us this, show us that. And so due to everyone's kit being different and there is no one size fits all, this is going to be talking about some considerations specifically with AK loadouts, right? And so getting right into it, starting with the plate carriers. So for me, I'm very simple. As long as the plate carrier fits well with the body and is well made, that is all I care about. And so this particular one, this is a Spiritus Systems LV119 Overt because I know people are going to ask. I've used everything from Cry to Spiritus and a lot of other brands in between. This one just works best for my body, but figure out again what works best for you. Don't just buy something because someone said this is the best, right? And so the LV119 fits really good on my body. And when you're wearing a plate carrier, obviously you're probably going to be getting into a fight, so we need to be carrying mags. The way that we carry mags, specifically AK mags, is going to be different than AR just because the ergonomics are going to be different. So one thing to avoid is I'm going to use this Spiritus Systems placard as an example. This isn't a dog on Spiritus Systems or anything like that, but essentially showing you the elastic style mag placards. One thing we have to really take into consideration is with AK magazines, depending on how well you can see this, have that notch on the rear of the magazine or that little latch, and then the notch on the front that locks into the mag well of the rifle. When your placard is too close together, those little latches and notches will actually almost interlock and make it pretty much impossible to pull that magazine out unless you try and wiggle it and pull it out. It's not going to be quick and smooth, right? So when you are looking for a good placard, take into consideration and make sure that there is definite separation between the magazine compartments. And so again, whether that's an elastic one or even in like the Spiritus Mark V with just those internal inserts, those latches and notches are still going to interlock and you're going to have a real hard time getting those magazines out again. I personally like, none of this stuff is sponsored, just FYI. I like the Wetworks Volk. That's just a coincidence in the naming, right? But this particular placard I've been using for a little over 3 years, give or take. It's been absolutely fantastic. Can fit everything from 7.62 to 5.45, 5.56 mags, and even M4s if that's your fancy. And so these, as you can see, they have good separation between the pouches. And again, I've never had any issues. This is an old gen one that I actually prefer. It's got elastic that clips onto a button, similar like the old Chi-Coms. The new ones are just Velcro closures. So these are absolutely fantastic. And moving on from the front of the plate carrier onto the cummerbunds. Now, on the side here, I have a Spiritus just a pouch, and in the where most people carry the M4 mags, I just have a radio stuffed into the pouch. And the reason I've got the radio on the pouch is because I run internal side plates. Side plates to me are pretty much a no compromise. I'm going to have them. They're only about £1 each. I would rather have an extra 2 pounds, but have that added protection. you never know, right? And they're extremely thin. These are the Hesco plates. I've been wearing these for years. Absolutely great. But again, do what works best for you. So in the Just a pouch, I just like having a GP pouch to stuff things, administrative things, stuff like that. So the radio, and then I like to keep a pistol mag in there as well. And then moving to the side of that, I really like the Blue Force Gear, the 10-speed pouches. And you can fit everything from zip cuffs to water bottles, extra mags, flashbangs, literally anything, right? The world is your oyster with the Blue Force Gear pouches. And so most of the time I like to keep the back of the plate carrier slick, unless I need to wear something like, let's say, a back panel. Right now, back panels, obviously everyone has their own opinion on those, and that's totally fine. If you need to run a back panel, or if you want to, just keep in mind that you can't take it off, right? It's more for a team environment. And so usually backpacks with thinner straps that we'll get into later, because we're going to be talking about some chest rigs and things after this. And so I usually keep this slick. But if I do run something like a back panel, I'll keep like a 1-liter water bladder in there or something. And again, Blue Force Gear 10-speed pouches, absolutely great, fit just about everything. And then I've got a Spirited Spud pouch over here with another mag, just in case if I need to do the reload with my right hand. And so with that being said, placard-wise, plate carrier-wise, I hope that answers some questions. Again, this is just some considerations, some basics. I'm not telling you exactly how to set your stuff up. Figure that out for yourself. So with plate carriers, this is one thing to really take into consideration. I'm not taking any shots at this particular company. This is an SKD Pig carrier, but straps for me are a very big thing. Hopefully, you're going to be able to see the straps on the rear plate bag of this are sewn on the inside. And so the rear plate, when it's on your body, is going to stick out a couple of inches unneedingly from your back, right? And you're just going to have like a board on your back, essentially. I don't know why they didn't sew the pouch or the straps on the outside to keep that plate hugging your body more, but keep it in consideration how it fits on your body. Moving on to belts. As you can see, mine looks kind of like a Batman belt. I have everything on here because if all I have is my belt, I need to be able to sustain myself and I need to have everything to fight with. So obviously we've got a handgun, which everyone should have. I mean, if you don't want to carry one, then that's totally fine, personal preference. But a handgun, and then I've got a Spirited Spud pouch with a Kydex insert and it tightened all the way down. I haven't had any problems with retention while running with this. It's essentially just like a Taco or a G-Code Scorpion, right? Really good retention on that. I think everyone needs to have some sort of medical on their belt. And essentially, it's better to have another med kit on your kit specifically so you have two different ones, just in case if you're running one without the other, you always have medical. And then next to that, I always keep a multi-tool. So that way, I've got one whenever. We've all been in those situations to where we've needed a multi-tool and we haven't had one. And so even if you're not a Boy Scout, always be prepared. Moving on from the multi-tool over another Blue Force Gear pouch. In this one, I just keep a flashbang. Again, you can put water bottles, same thing with the Spud pouch. But water bottles, magazines, flashbangs, whatever. Next to that, I've got another rifle magazine. And I've got an old school Tactical Tailor mag pouch on here. And then I have, for retention-wise, I just have a Ranger band that is around the magazine pouch. And that actually gives pretty good retention while running. Never had an issue with it falling out. And even if I need to re-index it for whatever reason, I haven't had any issues. The band has enough give that it slides right into the pouch when I need to re-index. Moving on from here, I have a flashlight. I think everybody should have a handheld flashlight on their belt. For whatever reason, administrative stuff, I don't want to be, holding my rifle or a handgun, searching in the back of my car or anything like that when I don't need to point a gun at something. So handhelds are really good, and I'm all about redundancy as well. If a rifle light or something goes down, I've got a handheld light. And then next to that, just 2 pistol magazines. Me personally, I'd rather have more rifle magazines than pistol, but for range use, this is kind of my belt I use for everything, even on the range. So I've got 2 mags, 2 pistol mags on here. And then I have a Blue Force Gear Marco. Everybody likes having those giant chem light groups on their belts. Those are cool, but those get in the way, and I mean, let's be honest, most of us aren't using 20 chem lights. They're just for looks, right? So the Blue Force Gear Marco, for those of you that haven't heard of it, they're essentially just mini chem lights. For whatever, I really like using these for night vision. I can mark certain spots for standing for drills and things like that, or even just drills at night. These small chem lights, they give off a good amount. And then also, when you have those giant things of chem lights on your belt, the sun's going to degrade those. So if you got 5, 10, 15, 20 of them on your belt just for looks, guess what? You just wasted all of that money, right? The sun's going to kill them. And so Marcos are great, especially when you just flip them upside down into the pouch, keeps them out of the sun, keeps them from getting that UV degradation. And then I've got gloves, and then also multiple tourniquets, the same on the plate carrier. You can never have too many tourniquets, right? Or technically you can. 50 of them in all your pockets would be too much, but that's a little overkill. Have at least 4 to 5 on your kit, my personal preference. So this was the plate carrier and belt portion, and then we're going to cut here and we're going to move into just some topics of chest rigs. All right, so chest rigs. Again, just considerations, not telling you how to set it up exact. With chest rigs, I personally like one styled like this, again, not sponsored, but this Helicon Tex Guardian. It's absolutely fantastic. So you've got 3 magazine pouches that holds 2 mags each, 6 mags total, and then also has pockets on the back, mesh pockets and things to fit more magazines, pistols, radios, whatever you need. And then it's also got 2 good-sized GP pouches. And so whether you buy a fully built chest rig or you get something like the Spiritus thing or something similar, magazines and administrative stuff are what I look for the most. And so fair amount of magazines. And in terms of the administrative pockets, we're going to be carrying, you guessed it, administrative items. So a couple honorable mentions, just things to take into consideration. So things that you're going to be using pretty regularly. So headlamps. And you've got, if you're wearing a chest rig, you're probably going to be on the mountains. Note-taking material. These are small, right in the rain notepads. And I know what you're thinking. If you've seen Zoolander, yes, these are notepads for ants, right? Now, right in the rain pen, I just like to keep those together, the pen clipped onto the notepad. And then also things like rangefinders, binoculars, whatever you want to carry. And then things like chem lights are absolutely fantastic. Keep your chem lights in the wrapper so that way they don't degrade in the sun. And then things like marker panels. This one, I believe, is made by Battle Systems. It's the MPIL, and it's got a multicam outer layer, and on the inside, on the flip side, you've got the high-vis orange, and then I've got a signal mirror. I like to keep this on pretty much any kit for whatever reason, for any situation. These are fantastic. And then also, I'm a big fan of caffeine, especially if I'm doing a lot of hiking and movement and stuff. I'm a huge fan of the Celsius brand caffeine packets, mainly because I can customize the amount of caffeine. If I only need 100 milligrams, because each packet's 200, if I only need 100, I can just dump a half a packet into a water bottle or something like that. Get me through the next 1 to 2 hours, so that way I'm able to go to sleep that night. So packets are really, really nice. They don't puncture really easy, and convenient way of carrying some energy, as well as like protein bars and stuff like that. And then also things like Nalgene water bottles. I always make sure that the pouches can fit, whether it's a 16 or a 32-inch Nalgene, so that way I've got some sort of water on me if I'm not carrying a day pack or a salt pack, whatever you want to call it. So being able to carry water, and then also batteries. This is a Theorem Cell Vault, carries whatever batteries that you need. Can go on a belt, molly, anything like that. These are absolutely fantastic. We've all been on the range or out when our batteries have died and we wish we had more. So carry more batteries than you think you need. And then also, I like to carry some rifle cleaning stuff. Usually in the grips of the rifles, I carry a little bottle of lube and a way to wipe down the bolt. And then carrying a bore snake for whatever caliber that you have is really handy, especially if there's been a lot of dirt, dust, and things like that. You can just run it through the barrel, get all of that crud out of there, and you're good. So that way it's not affecting your accuracy or potentially having any rust or anything like that inside the barrel. So keep that stuff into consideration with chest rigs. And again, whether it's something that's fully built or something that you customize yourself, because sometimes it is nice to tailor something very specific, very special, whatever. You know, a little 3 magazine type thing, I probably wouldn't take into a fight. I want more magazines. The more magazines, the better. So, in my opinion. And then also, you don't have to carry everything in the kitchen sink on your chest rig. Especially most of the time, you're probably going to be carrying some sort of a salt pack, day pack again, whatever, whether it be like a really good option is the Haley Strategic Flat Packs that can expand and contract depending on how much stuff you want to carry. And be careful of carrying too much. And then everything to kind of like this Russian rucksack, medium-sized rucksack, kind of like a medium-sized Alice pack. You're going to have extra mags, water, batteries, clothes, everything like that in something bigger. And so you can kind of split the load between the two, but again, always make sure that you have enough magazines and enough equipment to sustain you for whatever. Also, compass and map stuff or fire, you know, lighting fires, things like that if you're out in the wilderness. It's the little things that make the big difference. And so with all of that being said, I hope all of that made sense. I appreciate you sticking with me through this video. I know it was a little bit longer, but I appreciate every single one of you. If you have any questions or comments, just put them down below, and we'll see you for the next one.